Hello, hello, we are back. I didn't remember what is the number of this recording, Merul? Do you remember which one?
It's the fifth.
The fifth? Whoa, remember the time months ago that I sent you an email and say, oh guys, maybe we can do that kind of podcast, video podcast that is very, very famous now on the pandemic times to record some videos. So we're on the fifth edition, not bad, just before the Christmas. Hello, Emilie, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine. It's a pretty good day in Vancouver.
Pretty good in Vancouver. Remember that we have a very nice selection of places in the world because you're in Vancouver, Canada. Merul is in
Chandigarh in India.
And Janiru. Hello, Janiru. Unbox with Janiru. That's a very important point. Unbox with Janiru. Where are you, Janiru? Where are you located?
I'm from Colombo, Sri Lanka.
Colombo, Sri Lanka. And now you can ask me, where are you based, Andreu? Please, make me the question.
Actually, I know that.
Make me the question. We are not living streaming. Oh, right. This is no. Please don't use the chat because the chat is appearing on the screen. Okay. Janiru, it's better that you just put the mic a little bit nearer. Okay. So I am based in Lleida, Spain. That's near Barcelona. But I have something very special to show to you in an exclusive. 1, 2, 3. Expectation. Oh.
Wow.
This is made by hand by my daughter, Anna, and it says Liquid Galaxy 2020. What means that? It means that for me, this is made by my daughter. It's a present. Now, around this month, 10 years ago, I started my story with the Liquid Galaxy. Really, you know that the Liquid Galaxy was something Google created in 2008, but in 2010, Google released the Liquid Galaxy as open source. So we started to do things with the code from 2010. So now at the end of 2010. So this is a celebration, a Christmas celebration of the Liquid Galaxy. Do you like it? Nice.
Yes. This is excellent.
Very pretty.
Okay. I'm also wearing the Google Summer of Code sweater of 2014. This year, Google gives us a very nice sweater, and most of the mentors you can see around at some moment, they still have this sweater because it's a very nice quality one. And this started to be 6 years ago. So, after a little presentation, let's start with our contest for today. And let's start with Janiru today.
Wow, it's your dog, right?
Wow, that's true, Merul. What's the name of the dog?
His name is Oscar.
Oscar. Oh, amazing name. Very
Thank
nice.
you.
Very nice. I mean,
actually, he's the guy that can come to your computer, right? No one else can't come to your computer, right? Once you said to me.
What? I didn't get
Can't
you.
you hear my voice?
No, I did not understand what you mean.
Once you said that only the dog can come to your computer and
like under the table.
Around.
He likes to sit under my table a lot. So when I'm programming, he would just sit under the table. So I have a printer down there. He uses that as a pillow.
That's nice. Good pillow. So let's start with Janiru. And Janiru, you want to talk us today about the PS5? What's that? That's an open source? That's developer related? No, but actually, feel free. Go with your
screen. Any idea. Yeah, so the everyone tells that the biggest tech released on 2020 is the PS5, the Sony PlayStation 5. So it's just normal as a PlayStation, but the cool thing in that is if you want to play some like quality game, you need a gaming PC. Cost about maybe $1,000 at least. But the PS5 come for $500, and plus it can be run in 8K gaming. That's the most coolest part on it, because if you need to game on 8K on a gaming PC, you need the NVIDIA RTX 3090 card, That's about $1,500. So that's one cool advantage of the PS5. But you need an LG QLED TV as the monitor because you don't have any 8K monitors right now. We only have one TV. So you can see some gameplays in 8K by Marcus Brownlee in YouTube. And it has 16 gigs of RAM and AMD based CPU and an AMD based GPU on it. And there are two versions of it. Comes in the digital edition that you can't put CDs at $400, and you can put DVDs and uh, drives as games as $400. So as in Sri Lanka, internet is very expensive. So the digital edition is not working in Sri Lanka because a game is about 40 GB, and a 40 GB can be cost about $40 in Sri Lanka. Thank you.
Amazing. Do you remember Janiru and Merul and Emilie, that as a first, because it never happened before, PlayStation, Sony, released a video that I'm gonna put on the screen in a few seconds, but not the full video because it will take too long. It released a video with the unboxing, not unboxing, I will say.
You mean a teardown when they open
Yes,
and show
the full
components
teardown,
inside?
and now it's on the screen. You are not
Yeah.
seeing it, but believe me, the videos now. So he's screwing all the parts. So it was amazing because it was before the release of the PlayStation 5.
Yeah,
It was amazing, and
it was even before the unboxing video, right?
before the unboxing video, and before
Yes.
Fixit does that, because it's Fixit the website that does this every time with every machine, no? So it was.
Yes, the people was waiting for the unboxing video, but first they released the teardown one.
Yeah, it was amazing. No, I'm saying this because I am fast forwarding the video because I was very impressed. I imagine, like everyone in the tech industry or in the tech geeks, I would say, that the PlayStation 5 is almost nothing. I mean, most of the PlayStation is cooling, plastic and cooling. So really, the motherboard is absolutely small, and then the cooling system has a very thought system for the cool to the AMD Ryzen Zen 2, and I was pretty amazed of this technology, and also that Sony show up that kind of video because it never happens before. It was not really normal. So Emilie, do you play any kind of console or game system?
I don't actually have any experience. I never had like a console or like anything. I kind of just play on my laptop if I do play. So I don't have any experience with like PS5s or anything.
And do you have
I
plans?
hope.
Do you have plans to go for one this Christmas?
Oh.
No?
I don't like have any time really to play games. So like if I do, then I just like play like Minecraft, and that's just on my laptop.
You play Minecraft.
Very rarely because I have no time anymore.
Yeah, I understand. I know you're a very good student, and
I
I
hope I had a console. Yeah, I hope I had a console, but I never had. So I just play games on my laptop.
Well, Merul is the master of PCs here in the conversation. And
Yes.
what do you think about the PS5, Merul, in comparison with the regular PCs? What do you think?
I think PS4, although it is breakthrough, I do not agree on it being the best release of 2020. I think the best were the Ampere series NVIDIA cards because I'm looking at it from more than just gaming. And NVIDIA cards come with a lot more. There's an exponential increase in machine learning performance. And that is very important for me because I was learning machine learning, and like if you have ever tried how great it is once you work with uh, RTX optimized graphics cards, the change is almost exponential. On GPUs, it is blazing fast, like training models and stuff like that. So I think it was really the Ampere series launch which was phenomenal. I have never been so much into gaming, but I have invested quite some time. Like I do like to play some games when I am just trying to doze off or just like pass some time when I am really tired after a long session.
Let me say my side. I still have a PS3 on my main living room, and I play sometimes. And I play golf actually, because I have a golf game that I still really like. Of course, the graphics of the PS3 are very bad now, but I still play a lot. Well, not a lot, but sometimes. But the question is that continuing your conversation and also the Janiru's idea to have a console. I'm just putting on the screen the NVIDIA RTX 3 new cards, starting or ending with the 3090, 3080, and 37. Let's talk
What
a little
about
bit.
the 30?
Let's talk about this.
No,
I mean,
no, they just released the 3060 card.
yeah, I know.
3060 Ti is about $600 here, so everything gets marked up. It's
Yeah.
still like, even though it is a budget card, here it's like mid top tier for us because of the price
So
markup.
the question is that one friend of my son Andreu, is 24, and says to me, my son, oh father, my friend has just bought the 390, and I say, he's crazy. How much money did he spend on the 390? 1,500 euros. That's something like $1,700. And I say, and this off of gaming? I mean, if you're gonna do something different, like you said, Merul, like doing AI or doing 3D modeling or 3D animation or something that is really GPU intensive, think about that. These monsters of cars. Instead, you are doing Bitcoin, of course. If you are mining, this is another question. But if you want to design or something like this, maybe. But for gaming, I think this is absolutely crazy. I think as Janiru said, spending $400, $500 for a technology that is not, of course, a 3090, but it's very good. It's good, but spending not 1,500. Not 1,700, because if you buy a $1,700 car, you need a $1,700 PC. At least it's something like $3,000 or $4,000 you need to spend. Go ahead, Janiru.
Actually, the 3090 card is too much for gaming, right?
There's plenty of people. I know plenty of young people buying the car only for gaming. Believe me.
Actually,
3090 and 3080
gamers
have
buy the 3080. The 3090 is only good for the 8K gamers. Like, actually, no one has an LG QLED TV 8K one.
No, this is not true.
So-
I have friends that have this 8K OLED TV from. I have friends, and it depends. I know in Sri Lanka, Janiru, things are very expensive. I believe in India, but I can tell you, and maybe Emilie can join the conversation. She's not a gamer, but she can join the conversation. In US and in Canada, TVs are absolutely cheap. You can get a 80 inches screen for $800. Or not?
I don't think it's quite that low, but it is like, it's decently low, like compared to the markups that I've seen in like other countries. It's like, the very strange thing is that like the TV itself doesn't cost that much maybe, but then they make it so that the TV costs, like if you want to watch cable, then they mark that up. So they'll make money one way or the other.
So
same strategy as sell them the razor and make them buy the blades for a marked up price.
So believe me that for example, the QLED 8K from Samsung are now $6,000. Of course, this is in US market, nothing to compare to Spain and to Sri Lanka and India. But there is plenty of other TVs with less resolution at 80 inches that has, I would say, not 4K, but what they say 6K, like the Janiru, this is up to you. The Xbox S does 6K. That is something like 4K plus a little bit more pixels. That's correct?
Yes.
So it's crazy, totally crazy. I mean, here I'm seeing the ads. I'm not gonna show because those are ads, but not good. You can get in Spain. Spain, the price is I will not say in the middle, but in Spain you can get for 800 euros, around $900+, 80 inches at 6K. Of course, if you buy for a 3090, you pay for the 8K, but if not, the TV or the card will adjust to the resolution. So it's very curious, this stuff. Thank you, Janiru, for giving us the idea about talking about the PS5. Let's go to the next question. Merul, what do you want to talk to us about today?
So my topic for today is Apple moving to ARM-based CPUs and switching from x86 instruction set.
Are they doing this? Are moving to
Yes,
ARM
they
CPUs?
are.
No. What is Intel saying about this?
I'm not aware if Intel has actually released any statement or not, but so what had happened was Apple was constantly complaining about Intel not being able to keep up with Apple giving them issues and them fixing it. So Apple kept on giving them problems with their CPUs, and Intel's pace on fixing them was pretty low for Apple, and they decided to be the change that they're seeking. So they decided that they would go full ham on this and make CPUs from their own from scratch. Well, not exactly from scratch. They are still buying the IP for the main thing from ARM. ARM is basically a company which makes semiconductors and processors, but instead of selling them themselves, they sell the intellectual property to other companies who want to make their own CPUs. So we have Qualcomm, who makes ARM CPUs. We have Samsung, which with their Exynos, and we have Apple now, which is making their M1 CPUs for Macs. So they released 3 Macs, one MacBook Air, one MacBook Pro, and one Mac Mini. So all were about $1,000 or sub-$1,000 range. And so Intel CPUs were acting as a bottleneck according to Apple. So they decided to switch there. So what does this mean for Linux or Windows? Because, well, these operating systems are primarily made for x86 architecture. Now, a lot of people used to run Windows or Linux on VMs using Apple's Boot Camp program, or they used to run it as dual boots after they unlocked their Macs, which is getting very, very difficult now. So this is also an end to the Hackintosh industry. People who used to run Macs on devices which were not made by Apple. So Linux is not going to run on Macs right now. There isn't really any support for ARM processors other than Raspbian, which is the operating system which runs on Raspberry Pi, or other clones of that, or other variants. So Linux, you cannot get the full Linux experience on ARM-based Macs right now. Windows on ARM is also pretty bad. I have tried it firsthand on my friend's Lenovo Yoga Book. I think it was Yoga Book. And it is very, very bad. Windows on ARM can barely do anything. It is like, it struggles to barely run. It can't open Windows apps that fast, and it is a terrible experience in general. Now, Apple switching to ARM is kind of an opportunity for Linux to kick in here and make something, because we have a great community of open source developers who are experts at their fields, and they can make Linux run on ARM. And if that happens, that would be excellent.
Interesting conversation. So let me make some questions. First of all, do you know, Merul, what is the place that Apple has to pay the intellectual property of using the ARM chips?
What? Sorry.
Yeah. Let me read the question. So you say that Apple has to pay the intellectual property for using the ARM design.
Yeah, they have to. They buy it from the company ARM, which owns the intellectual property for ARM chips.
My question is, where is based this company?
United Kingdom.
That's a very curious question. So Apple and not the others, all the players are paying royalties to a British company that was the one that invented the ARM, and not now. ARM is something like 35 years old. So it's been evolving on the time. But
actually, it was recently acquired by NVIDIA.
I know. That there was they don't buy too much. I don't remember the quantity, but they don't buy too much. But for years, it was 22 billion, maybe. For years,
It's $40 billion.
$40 billion.
This is NVIDIA.
That's peanuts for NVIDIA. NVIDIA does this every day with the 3090, selling a few chips for the 3090. They make this money. So one question is this question. This is a curious question. Most people don't know. When Apple does a CPU that actually it's already on a screen with the different blocks, high efficiency audio processor, different. I mean, this version that the CPU they have designed, so they have to pay to British people the licensing of the ARM stuff. This is one thing I want to tell you. Next thing is that you talk about this. That's curious. Let's rewind to this. You talk about ARM for Linux and ARM for Windows, and this is it. This is all the market. Is this all the market? Question mark.
So
I'm talking about Google. You left one. You left
Chromebook, Chrome OS.
That's the point.
But Chrome OS is like a derivative of Ubuntu, which is indeed Linux. So
of course,
it comes under that.
Of course,
Linux
but
tree.
Android is also based on Linux and everything. Also, Also say Mac OS is also based not on Linux, but in a brother of Linux. You know that Mac OS is Unix. Do you know that?
Yes. Yeah, Mac OS is like
based on Unix. That Linux is the free Unix.
It is actually quite similar to, like, in terms of it uses Bash or ZSH or Fish. Like, it's really, very similar to
there
Linux.
is a layer of previous user interface made by Apple, but they started the new thing when they left the PowerPC years ago with the Unix system. So my point was that you didn't talk about Chromebooks, and Chromebooks for years have been running on ARM CPUs for years now. And Chromebooks have a very amazing piece of the market share only for education. Emilie, do you have Chromebooks at home?
I don't have Chromebooks at home, and I don't use them in my current school, but in my previous school, like the entire 7th grade had like Chromebooks, and then each grade below that they were phasing out the old laptops and giving them Chromebooks. So then everyone just had Chromebooks. So it's a big thing in education.
Yeah, maybe it does not happen in India, and maybe in Sri Lanka also does not. Janiru, do you know something about Chromebooks being used in the education here?
Yeah, I know about Chromebooks, but I have never seen them in Sri Lanka.
Okay, so the point is that let me show you one picture. You are not going to see it, but I will want to explain to you. So Chromebooks has more than 80% of the market share of the education market, only for the education market. And this is increasingly in an enormous rate for the pandemic, because most of the people like you are staying at home. So suddenly they need for real another computer, and they are not buying not Windows computers, not Linux computers, not Apple computers, because Apple is very expensive. Of course, there will be people that has an Apple, of course. But Chromebooks are cheaper and are very fast, because even running on ARM, this is already very well treated, because they started with ARM. So Chromebooks runs very fast. And here is my question. You talk about Linux, you talk about MacOS, and for me, being a Google, I would say, fan, it's very important that not Chromebooks start to use ARMs, because this is already happening for years, but Google start to design their own CPUs around ARM IP, like Apple does. And this is something is being told that they are doing. So they are starting to do another, I would say, something like Apple does years ago, starting to do his own chip factories and working with ARM designs. This is, for me, is very, very interesting. What do you think, Janiru? Do you have an idea on this?
Like the Google making process, like
Google making his own CPUs for their own computers.
Actually it's cool. Like actually, Apple's only make CPUs for their devices, and so Google has started that. Yeah, it's cool.
And let me make a question. Merul, do you have any Apple computer? Apple stuff, whatever, gear, whatever?
Yeah, I have Apple phones and tablets, but I've never owned an actual Apple computer.
But you
I
have an
played
iPad?
with their-
Sorry, you have an iPad?
I have an iPad. I have 3 iPhones. So I have like in my family, not me, of course. So
Yeah.
I have played with like their handheld devices, but not with like an actual Apple computer. I have used their operating system though.
Yeah.
Like I have an old laptop which has an Intel Core i5. I basically made it as a Hackintosh, and it runs back OS Mojave
Please,
right
Apple,
now.
don't listen this. Don't listen this. Emergency. Merul did a Hackintosh. Oh, me too. Years ago, it's easy peasy. But no longer you will be able to do that because with the new
because
chipsets, that's gone. And Emilie, do you have Apple stuff around house?
I have the phone, and then I have a tablet, and then that's it. I don't have the computer.
What model of iPad do you have?
iPad.
What phone? What is your tablet?
My tablet, I don't remember. It's kind of, I think it was like the 2nd generation thing. I don't remember the model.
2nd generation. Ooh, this is very old. Second
Yes,
generation was iPad 2, and it was maybe 10 years at least. iPad 2. I still have one iPad 2. So let me say, Merul, the other question I have on my notes is that it's curious. When do you attend the Apple presentation for the M1s? Have you seen the presentation?
Yes, I did go through it. It's quite small, like it's usually like an hour, so it doesn't take that time if you speed it up by 2. So I kind of like speed run through
the question for
presentation.
me was that they started. I always see the keynote, Apple keynotes on the whole on the same day live. I try at least, and I had the opportunity years and years ago of being in the Moscone Center in San Francisco. It was in Moscone Center or it was in Las Vegas? I'm not sure now. I think it was in Moscone Center. And I have the opportunity. Take a look at this, Emilie. I saw the iPad 2 presentation with Steve Jobs on stage. So the question is that suddenly Apple started to use that amazing marketing they have. This is 2x fast, this is 3x fast, and people started to say, okay, what means 2x? What means 3x? But really,
they never tell you what they're comparing to.
Exactly,
they never,
that's the point.
Ever mention
Compared to what? To a turtle or to a nice Windows computer? So the question was that after they started to release the machines to the beta testers or the different, I will say, YouTubers or companies, media companies started to say, oh, really, this is amazing. I mean, so the computer, the M1s are really amazing. But I still have one thing that is not, I have it not clear. I know Apple very well. I don't have one iPad. I don't have one iPhone. I have many, because if you are a developer, at some moment you have to test your applications with the iOS, of course, because they have a market share. But the point is that I think when they launched the M1 it was $999. Or it was $699. What was the price of the Mac Mini? Do you remember, Merul?
Mac Mini is $799.
$799. It was the cheapest one. So when they launched the Mac Mini at $799, and also not the first maybe, but some other people started to open it and to not to unboxing it like Janiru unboxer, but opening it like they fix it. There is nothing inside. There is nothing inside. Most of the Mac Mini is air. And then
it's the Mac Mini is from $699.
$699. So the question is that for me, this is some kind of Apple style, I want your money in my pocket instead of yours. Because, believe me, it is exactly the same hardware that they have on the iPads. I mean,
exactly.
That's the point. What do you think?
Linus from Linus Tech Tips, Linus Media Group.
Linus.
He said he said Apple released 3 iPads, one without a touch screen, one with a touch bar, and one without any screen at all. And he was so right about that, but I did not want to say that to avoid controversy here on the podcast.
Well, you know,
but now it has happened.
He needs clickbaits for getting plenty of views on their videos. But the question is that I agree 100% because it is almost the same. Next iPad maybe has the same hardware that the main one. So you're paying, I will say, it depends on the hardware. You're paying hundreds of dollars more. But let's go to the other question. The other question is that Apple maybe shares the same chip technology between the iPads and the other and whatever. But the question is, the other question is that we're talking about their manufacturing, and they are paying a little bit to ARM NVIDIA own. But the question is that if you go to Intel and you get the chips from Intel like before, they pay lots more money for the chips. So doing his own CPU at home and in ARM means that their manufacturing cost, I will say, it's several $100 less, and they don't pass this to the public. They still charge the same for the computers. So they are gonna be another quadrillion company because they are charging more and more money. It costs less to them, and then they still charge a lot of money for the people. I don't know if you agree with me.
It's just Apple being Apple. They've always just wanted to get your money. I mean, I just want to add to something. Do you know that Apple actually tried making their own processors once very early on with their Macs?
Sure.
And then they shifted to Intel. Now they're switching to their own processors again. They shifted to Intel because of their own incompetence in making processors. They are not a semiconductor company. They do not have the they are making it, but changing architecture to ARM is a serious thing. Developers would have to change all the optimizations they made for x86 to ARM, and that is a tedious thing. It's not that easy.
But the developers are doing it. At least we're talking about developers. That's nice, because this podcast originally was about developers. Today is a hardware-related podcast. But
I can imagine how frustrated developers would be. First, they optimize so much for x86. Now they have to make for a completely different
allowed them
platform.
to buy a very early M1.
They got those Mac Mini developer kits.
Yeah.
Like Linus Sebastian from LMG got one early on, but he was sued or threatened by Apple. I can say
because Apple is telling me that I have to return the unit because I don't have the permission to have it. Please don't make more publicity of Linus, unless they make publicity of our podcast. That's the second time you mentioned Linus. So to end this conversation, because Emilie has to explain something Christmassy related. So it's very curious. You say that Apple tried to do this of the CPUs before. Let me explain this because I know the history. For real, they started to use Motorola chips, the PowerPC. It was not made by Apple, it was made by Motorola. It was an architecture called PowerPC, and they use in this middle version before changing to the Intel chips and leaving the very old chips. They use PowerPCs from Motorola. They create at some moment their own chips, but always in a joint venture with Motorola. And the curious stuff, if there is a very big company that you all know, it's IBM. IBM still makes some pieces of hardware, and I will say near Emilie's home, because they do this. They manufacture these computers on the north of New York. It's nearer than any other one. And these computers are for administration, for public administrations. They're very big computers, servers and so on. And they still use PowerPC architecture, their own chips, because they are very tuned for this work. So PowerPC is still in use on the IBM ecosystem, and it's curious. So do you want to mention anything else, Merul?
Yeah, this is actually the first time Apple is going alone. Earlier, it was like collaboration stuff in making processors when they were doing it with...
They have all the cash of the world in their pocket. They can go alone.
They can go alone now.
They can go alone.
But it would still be interesting to see what comes up.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's not wise to buy the first edition of any technology, because first edition would be scraped away.
They never use
very
a
quickly.
first edition. They wait for
It
the
is
other
basically
people.
public beta testing.
They allow to other people go nuts against the wall, and when they start to get created, then they use the technology. Okay, it's been a nice conversation. So, Emilie, what do you want to explain us today? Something Christmas related?
I suppose switching the topic incredibly from hardware, but I thought I would talk more about some more holiday-related festive things in this software world. So it's the beginning of December. Most people have already been playing Christmas music since like November. But basically, in the spirit of the Advent calendar tradition, there are some really interesting resources in the internet right now that have like a similar Advent calendar mechanic, or they like play into Christmassy things. So I thought I'd mention some. So the first one is more of a small little blog series. You've all heard of Vlogmas on YouTube. Probably a lot of YouTubers do that. And then there's also something called Blogmas, which is people who write articles. But there's this small little Norwegian design consultancy that has 11 advent calendars. So they have 11 articles a day surrounding different topics. So if you don't know what an advent calendar is, it's basically like a little box traditionally. And then each box has like 24 smaller boxes. And then some have chocolates, some have like gifts or toys. And then each day you just open one and you get whatever treat is inside. And then you, of course, eat the chocolate. And then it's kind of like a little tradition turn towards Christmas. So they have a lot of interesting topics like JavaScript, functional programming, and security, which I think a lot of people would be interested in. So most of them are in English, so I think you should probably check them out. It's at beck.christmas.
It's on the screen now.
Oh yeah, that's super cool. They have a really interesting
very nice design also.
Yeah. And then there's another very popular project, I'd say, is the Cheerlights Initiative. So created by Hans Schaller, it's an Internet of Things project, which means that each device is kind of connected to the internet and connected amongst themselves. And basically what it does is it syncs people's Christmas lights or any lights that you plug into the system. So if you tweet at Cheerlights or include the word Cheerlights and then a color, then it'll change the color of your lights from like red to green or whatever. So they have their whole API, and you can basically just pull input from there and update your own Christmas trees. So while I don't have something set up at the moment to track it, I've seen people with like really big Christmas trees that are just synced up to the Cheerlights. And then like if you just tweet at them, then they'll change every like minute or so. And then during Christmas time, it gets really active, so it keeps switching colors. And it's a really festive like environment, and it's like also really nerdy, but it's like really cute.
I show their website on the screen, and it's nice that you can change the color of other person just tweeting. They use MQTT, the protocol, I think.
I believe so. And then they have like a public API where you can get the last color, and then you can just like pull it in.
Yeah, very nice idea if you have some board time before Christmas or in Christmas. Go ahead.
I mean, like it's good for community too, because you kind of feel like you're connected with other people, and like with the pandemic you can't really feel that, but I don't know, Cheerlights is very nice.
I agree.
So last but not least, probably all of you have heard of it at this point, but there's something called Advent of Code. So it's a project by Eric Wassel that combines the Advent calendar setup that I talked about earlier with programming challenges, which adds a lot of frustration, but also a lot of fun. So it's kind of like Code Wars or whatever hacker rank, whatever you use, but it's all Christmas themed and they're really fun challenges. I think today's program was trying to find like a questionnaire on a survey that you got before boarding the plane, and they all have this really elaborate storyline, and I think it's like a really nice way to combine the festive spirit with like programming practice, and I definitely recommend it to all of you. It's a really great way to practice like small programs, but it has a lot of holiday flair, so I really like it.
And the question is that there is a leaderboard. It's already on the screen, and people is fighting for being on the first top of the leaderboard. Yeah.
I think a lot of my friends have like their own private leaderboards, and then like among some of my other friends we we have different leaderboards and we're all trying to like climb to the top. But then some people are like awake at like the correct time, and then they'll jump on it like first thing at like midnight UTC -5, I think. And then others are like asleep. So then it's like we're all trying to fight each other to get like into the top position. So I think that's something that's like, it adds community with like just a little bit of competition.
Very nice. And are you planning to, or are you already join any of these initiatives, Emilie?
Yeah, I'm doing admin of code with like my friends and like my school classmates right now, and we're kind of just like plodding along. We're on day 6 now, and I've like, not to brag, but I've done it every day, and it's like, it's a fun challenge.
Nice, very nice.
Have any of you guys done admin of code this year?
Merul?
I did not. I had not heard about this actually. Though it seems really interesting. I will surely hop on.
Yeah, you should try it. It's really fun.
I didn't hear about it until Emilie told it in here.
Janiru, we think that what you are really waiting is for the PS5 or the Xbox, whatever, under the tree. No?
No one would buy it. Actually, I have money. I have money, but my parents won't let me buy it.
You got your money from your job in the internet, or?
Yeah, I have a lot of collected money from Fiverr and Udemy.
Wow, that's good. I think Merul and Janiru, one day we have to make maybe for the January edition. Maybe you can share again your experience on how to make money on this platform. Emilie, are you doing something like this, or you don't have enough time to go to this?
When I was little, I tried to make a Udemy course, but I don't think anyone signed up. So then I lost a lot of motivation. So now I kind of just like do my own thing.
So I firmly believe that this can be interesting for I would say our little audience, but it will be nice if you share your experience. So maybe for the next program, Janiru and Merul, you can make a joint session. Emilie and me, and who knows if any other GCier is attending, we'll make you questions about what is this lovely way to make money on the developer.
It was actually more about the experience of getting into professional programming rather than making money, because you learn ways more when you're making actual stuff rather than dummy projects.
I understand, but believe me, Janiru has done this just because he wants a PlayStation 5. So it's for the money. Or maybe actually he wants a 3090 Ti.
No, I'm just targeting for 3060 right now.
For the 3060. Okay, I don't want to spend as much money. I still have a 9070 GTX, and that's enough for me. Okay, I will not show you it now because I don't have it ready, but I have 5 screens in front of me. 5. This is something like a Liquid Galaxy, and I have one 9070 GTX driving all the 5 screens simultaneously. So I don't need. That's because also I don't do anything any gaming. I don't know any gaming on my PC. Practically nothing. If I do gaming, I do it on my big screen on the living room with the not the PS3, because I told you that I have a PS3, but this is not true. I have a Switch, I have a PS3, and I have many other consoles. I will say not actual versions, because I still didn't go for any Xbox or PS9 new versions, but I have old ones, and I have also really old ones because I am an old guy. So I have something like retro gaming. I have a little NES computer with hundreds, thousands of different old games connected to the TV. And of course, I prefer to play this if I have some time than not the new absolutely crazy gamings doing not nice stuff, I will say. Minecraft is nice. Minecraft. Maybe, Emilie, are you doing something related to Minecraft in programming? Have you tried the? Because
I tried when I was like little to make like a little mod, and then I got into like command block programming, and that was like because you have little commands that you can run, and then you give the player this and give the player that, and you can make little maps, but not recently.
And any of you have experience on doing mod for any other games, modifications for games? Merul, maybe?
No, I do not.
I have a team of 6 students on the laboratories I work that we are doing some mods at this moment for Farming Simulator.
Do you make it work on Liquid Galaxy, or is it something different?
No, Farming Simulator. Do you know about Farming Simulator? No.
Yeah, it's like a game which is
You just go to farm. I mean, you have orchards, or you have I don't know, a kind of different plants, and you have to collect the plants and sell the plants and plant the plants, and so it's a very old, 20 years ago. Have you played, Emilie, on Farming Simulator?
I haven't played it personally, but I've watched other people play it, and it seems very amusing.
Yeah. Janiru?
It's a paid game, right?
It's a what?
It's a paid game. It's not. Yeah.
Sorry, your mic suddenly.
It's a paid game, right? Paid one.
Yeah, it is paid.
Yeah.
He means like it doesn't cost money to buy.
Yeah. Well, it depends. What do you call for money? Because I bought the licenses for legal at $3. Not the latest version, but the 2018 version. I bought those for $3. It is something, if you bought for a PS4 or for the PC, maybe it goes to $19 or 20 something, but I bought those for digital. It cost me $3.50 each license. I bought several. So it's a very curious game. The question is that you have to go to farm, plenty of different stuff. And I'm doing a mod with some students. Maybe in a future program I will show you that. The question is that first I have to find a student that has a fluent English enough to explain you the point. I'm not pretty sure about that. Not too much students of this age have a correct English here. That's bad. So, any other questions you want to mention? We are now 46 minutes on the podcast, and that's enough for today. Merul, any other questions you want to say? Maybe you want to say Happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone, and Happy New Year. This year ended so quickly, and simultaneously this was so slow. This is feeling kind of weird that we're already in December.
But excuse me, you don't celebrate usually here in India. How is your celebration, Merul?
No, we do not celebrate Christmas, but my birthday happens to be just a day before that.
Oh, okay, understand. So you have a celebration for Christmas. Are you waiting for a 3080?
No. I'm just planning to get a new router this time.
Okay. So in advance, happy birthday and happy Christmas, or whatever kind of celebration you do. So Janiru, what about Sri Lanka? Do you celebrate Christmas there?
No, I don't celebrate Christmas, but some people do. Not a lot. Yeah. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everyone.
Emilie, what do you do in Vancouver? I'm pretty sure you celebrate here Christmas.
Oh, yeah, we celebrate the trees. A lot. The tree's set up like downstairs.
It's already set up, the tree?
Oh yeah, it was set up last
week. My daughter and my wife are at this moment in the living room starting to do plenty of trees, many trees, not one, several trees, lights. The point is that, please continue, I will say after. What else do you do, Emilie, for the Christmas celebration?
I mean, usually people go out and celebrate with COVID, so I think...
COVID, no celebration at all, at least not multiple people.
Normally people, I think they go what do people do? I think they just stay inside and kind of just spend time with family. But there's a lot of really big decorations if you go down to some streets.
Nice.
So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everyone who's watching.
Nice. So I want to tell you something related to the Cheerlights project. Is that when my wife and my daughters finished the decoration of the living room, I don't have this ready, but I have it so dear. Then I come the automation. Those are some, because I have plenty more intelligent sockets with Wi-Fi and Google Assistant and Alexa. So I start when I saw the final decoration, because I don't know what they are doing at this moment. They are doing now. So maybe they have the three lights. They have some lights. I don't know, many different lights inside the living room, in the entrance of the house, and also usually on the balcony. So then I start to plan, and I was like, okay, here I will control this light with this name, and I will control this light with this, and then I start to make zones, and this year also I'm planning to do something more interesting. And also I have to tell, I will try to implement Emilie the green light program. I will try. I'm pretty sure it's not so difficult. I will try to do something. So, Merry Christmas, happy everything, whatever you celebrate, and see you on January. Bye-bye. Here. Ciao. Bye.